Hello everyone. Welcome to the world of Jeffrey Parker Interiors. This is our third segment coming from my home, and we've talked about the importance of starting any design project with a plan, with drawings, with the floor plans. I often refer to those floor plans as the Bible of the project. But what do you do once you have the plan of the room, the house, the architectural design that you're doing? You then have to paint it like a canvas. And that canvas can take on a myriad of colors and shapes and forms, or the lack of color. Every client is different, and for me, I think it's very important to understand each of my clients as individuals and not simply be an arbiter of my own taste. I like to get into the head of my client, to understand them, to know who they are. I've often gone into people's closets because the wardrobe they have, the clothing they wear, is a very important indicator into who they really are. People will tell you what they think their taste should be, but often they're not really in touch with how they would most comfortably live. I like to listen to what the client says, but more importantly, observe how they live, observe them in their environment, and see what moves them. It could be the clothing they select, it could be an art collection, it could be a collection of objets, but there are real indicators in a personal taste level. For me, interior design has to be more than simply putting someone in a beautiful environment. It has to be connecting with that individual client's taste so that when I leave, I want people to walk into their environment, I want people to walk into their home and say, oh my gosh, what a beautiful home, this looks like you. I don't want it to look like a Jeffrey Parker Interiors, I want it to look like your personal residence in its best possible incarnation. So once we've determined the architectural designs and the furniture layouts and the traffic flow and the patterns of the decorating and interior design process, you then have to pick the fabrics and textiles. Today we're going to look at how we develop the textile and fabric schemes for several rooms in my own home, starting with the living room. In the living room, I wanted a patterned carpet on the floor, both for the durability of the weave and also for the patterning that would be forgiving should a little wine or an hors d'oeuvre fall during a cocktail party. In this case, I found a beautiful antique Persian rug from 1900 that has a glorious sort of palette of teal blue, gold, amber, and beige. From the color scheme of this rug, we developed the palette of the room. I wanted to feature the sofa in a cognac amber kind of cut velvet. It's a very luxurious fabric that in the winter feels cozy. It's also durable, and the brilliant thing about cut velvet as it wears, it actually becomes more beautiful. It develops a patina of its own. To complement the cognac sofa, we have a club chair and a coordinating love seat in an ottoman weave fabric. Those fabrics are the same, and I wanted them to be beige to sort of neutralize other aspects of the room so that the carpet would remain the feature pattern of the room. The curtains, which are a stripe, which when you look at the striped fabric, you'll say, gee, this is sort of a powerful, strong, busy fabric. But as you'll see, when you fabricate curtains and these stripes are folded into one another, they become an ombre of color and a much more subtle effect. All of this put together, and then the side accent chairs have a beautiful texture, woven texture, a contemporary weave to give a little juxtaposition to the antique carving on the chair. When you combine all of these fabrics, it's a beautiful palette with a great balance. The rug remains the principal patterning in the room, and it allows for the furniture to shine, I think, in this space. In the family room, the principal fabric for me that was important was the upholstery for the sectional sofa. seen here, it's a clearance house fabric called Sherlock Holmes. It's a Anglo-Indian paisley patterning, multicolor as you see, very durable weave, and very comfortable because some of the fibers have a chenille quality about them. This is where we watch movies, watch the news, watch television, have our pizza, drinks, hors d'oeuvres. It needed to be a very comfortable and very durable textile that would be very forgiving for the constant use. To complement that, this carpet, which is a wall-to-wall carpet from Paris, is a series of colors. It's a multicolor, very fine cut velvet stripe that has all of the colors of the fabric, but in very fine lines together. So it creates this sort of ombre of color, but very subtle. That's further complemented by the grass cloth wall covering, which again has variation of color from a burgundy reddish coloration to a natural wheat color. This all creates a background that lets the sectional sofa fabric be the most important pattern in the room, and also let the contemporary art collection, which also is colorful and complementary to the fabric, be the stars of the room. This is all complemented further by a beautiful Pollock fabric, which is a mohair, again very durable, velvety mohair, and leather and suede fabrics in the room. In the end, this is a very luxurious, warm, lush room to live in, and yet it is very practical, very forgiving, and a beautiful space to spend hours of the day. And finally today, no home is complete without a wonderful guest bedroom or a few guest bedrooms. This is a guest suite on the 3rd floor of my house that's done in a bright, sort of airy feeling, and the principal fabric in this room is actually the curtain fabric, which has this beautiful kind of arabesque scrolling pattern in a beautiful pale blue, gray, and white. To complement that, we have a wonderful textured stark carpet that has a great kind of contemporary geometric patterning in, as I say, gray and white, a dove gray, and this variegated striped wall covering in shades of pale gray and white, with a beautiful ottoman weave on the headboard and dust skirt, and a very comfortable Marshall Field guest chair upholstered in a beautiful velvet that has a pinline arabesque pattern that complements the large-scale pattern of the curtain fabric. The room is basically a soft silvery gray and white palette with these accents of beautiful blue that make it a peaceful retreat at the end of the day. I hope you've enjoyed this visit with me. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for joining us at Jeffrey Parker Interiors.